Well, it is Vision 2022. Welcome to our feed out to Facebook and YouTube. Are we on LinkedIn too? LinkedIn, Twitter too, probably. And I love to go to conferences like this, and I'll never forget it was this Apex this past fall. And we got this unruly crowd of friends and industry people, and the topic. It started out light, and then it got very heavy near the end. It was amazing, and we didn't have the camera working right. And Tracy was doing all this hand-holding stuff. But anyway, we're here, and we have an open invitation. And I know some people. If you see somebody walking by and they may have forgotten, let's just flag them in. And we've got three mics. I think you kind of can see a lot of the people that are so far in the first cameras. Craig or Chris Sobieski from Snap-on. Hey man, I met you for the first time today.
Yes, you have.
Good to have you here, man.
I'm very happy to be here.
So besides all the great training here at Vision, we have right here through the windows on this very stage is Expo, and they're 10,000 square foot to 20,000. All these great booths, all these great vendors that are here. So everybody's looking for advice and to know what's going on with all of our vendors. So that's going on. It just opened up about an hour ago. To go on tonight, I think, until 8, and tomorrow, most of the day tomorrow, 9 to 3. But most importantly, is the power of networking that goes on at shows like this and the training. I've done a bunch of interviews. You probably hear that I already have conference voice. And by tomorrow morning, I'm going in my episodes. I'm going to do my best Barry White impression.
Oh yeah.
And so, but it's good to have you here. If you've got any comments on social media, you want to chat where you are and say hello to us, please do that. Chris, what's your main mission here as a vendor supplier?
Well, this is the first time that we've been here as Snap-on Equipment with John B. bringing the TruePoint device, which is our ADAS calibration fixture.
Oh, I saw that thing. It's out in the hallway. It's
a
on
new product display, and then there's also one out in the show floor.
Is it the first time you guys are doing ADAS?
We've been doing ADAS for about 3 years, but we first stepped out with an easy ADAS system, which was a manual system, and then a year ago we released the TruePoint, which is a full image 3D technology ADAS system that uses no tape measures, no lasers, everything is placed by camera. And it can document and validate that everything was done correctly.
I saw a couple of ADAS demos up in Buffalo where I am. I get invited to a lot of these. And where I started to see the laser stuff coming in, which was making it easy to set up all the targets. And I'm sure today it's been over a year now. I'm sure it's all different.
Oh, absolutely. It just continues to evolve. The cars are evolving. More and more cameras and radar modules, LiDAR, all of this stuff that's taking us to the next level, which will be level 3 on time, where the car will actually be able to make decisions for the driver.
But that's good, because there's certain points in time in my life I would love a partner, and not my wife.
Well, just think about the car actually using the turn signal since the operator doesn't.
Well, wouldn't that be something? In fact, that's guys, that's one of my biggest pet peeves right now, is the people that aren't signaling. Do you see that? You see that people aren't signaling?
It's me.
Oh, yeah. But that's Patrick. That's not enough.
That's how they say when they get out of the fast lane and into the slow lane on their own. That's my.
Get a little closer to the mic.
You know what? When they don't get in the fast lane, or they're in the fast lane going, half the speed they should be, if they could just automatically move over, that's.
So, are you calling me out? I think you're calling
yes,
me out.
I think so. That definitely has built some things.
So I told some people that I interviewed you yesterday, and we talked about you closing the shop and bringing everyone here, and we talked about things you do for your people, and he says that he really does a lot of great things, like he brought in a breath coach, or
yes,
a breath coach, right?
Yeah, we did. We did some breath work.
So he says that. Of course, my daughter's been with me a year now. And she's sitting here kind of producing up the episode. And the minute he says that, and I've been asking Tracy to come on the show, she walks over, grabs the mic, and she goes, "That's really good." And so she made her debut on the podcast. And so she's actually a great help in contributing to the show. So thank you. You helped break the ice. Anyway,
You're welcome.
Always be appreciative. And I was telling, who was I telling today? Is Vinny has this infectious smile, and that's.
Jerry told me. I think it was him.
It was Jerry. Yeah, we did an interview with Jerry. And so he told you that he talked
did.
about you. Okay, cool. Chris, great to have you here. Mike Baggett, why don't you take that place? Who's next? Patrick, you're up here. Patrick Egan, you're doing some really cool things. You actually look like Cecil B. DeMille out there. Give him your headset, Matt, so he can hear what you're talking about. It's amazing stuff. We need to do a podcast of the fact that you're trying to tell video stories for shop owners and then get them out there and look real. I mean, I've seen the videos; they're sharp looking stuff.
Well, nobody tells your story like you do. Yeah. And shop owners can't be everywhere all the time. So get it on video and do documentary style, authentic stories about real people. And I think that's what draws interest from your customer.
Do you have a booth?
Nope.
Okay, so you're just hanging out because you're Patrick Egan.
I'm just coming here to see all these cool people and photobomb your.
Yeah. And so here he is. All you need to do is he's walking around with this really cool contraption, probably from the Millennium Falcon, and there it is. You see it, and you just turn that on, and people just gravitate to you. It's like flies to a light.
Yeah, anymore. All my expensive gear kind of stays in the trunk because.
That's probably all you need. Isn't that amazing? I love that. And I thought my little walk around thing was cool. I want that new toy, Tracy. Hey, Jen.
Hey, Carr.
How you doing?
It's so fantastic. Isn't it great being here?
Yeah, it is. Jennifer fills in everyone. She's been on the show enough. I wrote the foreword of one of your books.
Yes, you did. You get Prince.
Yeah, that was great. It was an honor to do that. It was a great read. And when she says, "Hey, would you write the foreword to the book?" I said, "There's no pressure there." It was truly the first time. So I got on Google to figure out how am I supposed to do this. What's it supposed to be like? Because when you win the Pulitzer Prize, I want to make sure.
Oh, and everyone knows that Carr.
That was. I'll tell you, I have to send a check to her often as much as you. So what are you doing here? You're here with Renee, your husband. Right?
Yes, I am. And, I'm just here to be with my brothers and sisters in this awesome industry, Sometimes I teach here. This time I'm a spectator, and I just so want to interact with my brethren, right? And give the hugs and share the stories. And what am I glad to do?
Yeah, you're a people person, rock star marketing. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mike Baggett. Hey, man. How you doing?
How you doing?
You've been on recently.
Yep.
What brings you here?
Training.
You bringing people with you?
It brought everybody but one service advisor and one technician. We left back to hold back the floor.
Look, I just want to try this to the industry because you're probably going to watch it. I don't know when. But the fact is that I've talked to so many shop owners, Mike, that have closed and brought the team in. And I've done, when I was talking to Vinny Lucido, when I was talking to Travis Troy, the revenue is made up. There's never been a bump in sales. Everybody, that's their excuse, right, Carl? And you don't lose a thing. I mean, you're investing, but what happens post-vision?
Pretty much everybody comes back with a new enthusiasm for the industry and what we do. So, yeah, I mean, everybody comes back and pretty much just rocks it. I think that's where people don't see the dip in it, because when we come back, we just crush it so much harder.
You hear it over and over again. It cannot be a lie. It has to be true. So thanks for being here. Okay. So I interviewed Chris this morning.
Saw you in here. Looked like you guys were having a good time.
Well, we were rocking. Chris came in with no agenda. That's been the almost the MO every time Chris and I get together. And he said that you guys did a class.
We did.
And the compliment he gave you, I don't know if he told you.
Probably.
He probably did. But he brought the visionary concept to what change is about. And Craig was right there by my side to bring the process and the format to change.
Yeah, the whole visionary integrator concept there, right?
Yeah. Get a little closer to the mic. I know you're a really tall guy. Yeah. Chris is the visionary. You're the integrator.
You know, what I also saw there too was a 20-year veteran of Toastmasters and a 2.5-year veteran of Toastmasters. I was a student as much as we were teaching there. I'm consistently impressed by the fact that I get to be a part of this man's success and he's building other people up with him at the same time. It's just beautiful, man. I felt very proud to have the opportunity in the first place.
Do you regret leaving as the business like you did? You know, you were in business forever, in the family business, and you made a decision one day that I'm going to go to work for Chris Boudier.
You know, I don't regret it. The family business, we talked about change in our class, and I brought it up a few different times where we were dealing with some challenges that weren't going to necessarily improve in the family business. You can't change family. There's all kinds of things that you can change in yourself. When I left, I could leave because I was finally at a point in life that it wasn't a huge risk. The kids weren't as little as they were anymore. It was hard, it was scary earlier on. I knew I wanted to leave years before, and so no, there were no regrets. By meeting leaders like Chris, joining teams like at Autotex, wow. I mean, the fact that there's people that look out for other individuals better than even family, in my opinion, it was a foreign concept.
So Ann told me that when you retire, Carm, I want you to grow long hair. And I said to her, I do have an inspiration of what long hair really should look like, and I think it should be great with me.
We definitely appreciate hearing compliments. Like Chris tells me, the reason he hired me is for the hair.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any.
He used to have long hair. Have you seen the picture?
No.
You need to ask him for that because it's awesome. Yes, long hair. The man was not always bald.
Is Chris the one that's in the rock band?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he had the hair to go with it.
Yeah.
He looks great bald. I'm terrified of that. I have 2 bald grandpas. This is staying this way because I know it's a matter of time. It's going.
No, trust me, it's too thick up front here.
I hope it goes great before I lose it.
Whatever you're eating, stay with it, right? Okay? Whatever you're doing, stay. And so here comes Carl, and Carl Hutchinson comes in the door, and don't ask me why, but I have such a tremendous relationship with all my podcast alumni in a 2D world.
Right.
And if I've not met you, and we met before, but not to the point where you really gave a lot to the podcast this year. Thank you so much for all of that. And so here he stands in the doorway, and I look at his name tag. And I was really pissed about that. But thanks for being here. And thanks for what you've done for us. What's going on?
That's the first time you've met him in person?
No.
Oh, look at that. We got Tracy on the podcast today.
Yay, Tracy.
Here's my conscience.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. It's the first time we actually met in person.
When? Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was last year.
Well, we had met before, but it was more in passing.
Oh, in
and
passing,
it was
okay.
like I was a nobody because I was a nobody.
Then I don't
Yeah.
feel so bad. All right. Okay. So what you did the same? Did you bring some people?
We brought some people. We got one other staff member here today. We've got I think 5 or 6 more coming tomorrow. Yeah, it's training a whole new staff, bringing them. It's exciting stuff. It really is. Even for us old guys that have been around a while, sitting in these classes, getting to see it all over again.
Yeah, you said old guys.
Yeah, the old guys.
And he was talking
And then
about
Bill
you.
shows up. So, but no, it's I never had long hair like the other gentleman had, but it was close. We're children of the 60s and 70s, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I did. And every time
When I had hair, when Bill had hair.
Bill, so here we are in this thing where Craig says we need to get Chris's picture with long hair. Bill, we need to get your picture with long hair.
You can't. The only picture I have with long hair cannot be made public.
I remember that. All right.
So it must be good old days.
Oh my God. All right.
Did you have the permed mullet?
No, it was just long, but the beard was like this big. Yeah, and I'm giving whoever took the picture, and I don't remember, but I was giving them the finger.
We can Photoshop that out too.
Oh, we
We can make that an okay.
Or a cross. I could be holding a cross.
So Carl, would you look up Carl's episode we did on EOS today. Uh, Carl was so kind to be part of a series we did on the entrepreneurial operating system.
Well done.
And
Well
it was well done, very, very Barrett and the rest of the guys. And I wanted to do a show that brought the behind the scenes of the 2-day event. And they're very good.
Yeah, honestly, that's the next level for any business, regardless of whether you're in the automotive business or not. It's the next level. It's the next thing. I mean, once you've been through the 20 groups, once you've been through all the management stuff, if you're ever going to grow, if you're going to expand or succession out, it's the next step. It really is. It's huge.
Episode 717. It's a very emotional episode. It may have been, it was you or AJ, somebody got very, very sentimental as they discussed what really went on at that 2 day. The bonding that goes on, the intimacy that goes on with the leadership team. It was really good. And I would told anyone who has read the book Traction but wants to figure out how it works, just listen to that entire series on the OS. Bill Haas.
Yeah.
Hey man, we did an episode today. I can't wait to release that one. So here's I need to ask you something. What did you think of the episode?
The episode was great. What I really loved about the episode we did today was that there was no plan, there was no agenda, and it just, we went a lot of places, but it was still pretty grounded.
It was.
And
when you guys were done, Tracy said they nailed it. And part of how you nailed it was the dialogue that you were having was very interactive. No one talked a little too long when you were trying to make your points. And after one person stopped, another person jumped in and leapfrogged. I thought it was so well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you were telling me that you're working on some really neat new things. Is it something we can talk about? Let's share it.
Oh yeah, we've started a hiring program, so we're actually doing hiring of technicians and service advisors for shops where it's a turnkey program where we write the content, we post the ads, we get the resumes, we review the resumes, we do the interviewing, right up to the point of after the interview, there's a summary written of the, pros and cons, positives and negatives of that person. And then we pass it on to the owner. So for the owner, by the time they get this is a vetted individual that meets the qualification. We don't make the hiring decision, but we get them only people that are qualified for that job.
It sounds like it's so well needed.
It is really well needed. My biggest concern, because a lot of people have talked to me about it here, and my biggest concern is that, we can only do so much so fast. So I'm afraid that the demand will be greater than what we're able to provide. But, so we'll have to manage that aspect of it. But I'm pretty good at saying no. So.
Yeah, I know. Totally. But it hurts. I'm over it.
Good. I knew you would be. but hey, I want to throw in one thing. I just came off the trade show floor. It's packed. It's just there's people everywhere.
Can't walk.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, it's a testament to everybody coming here.
Yeah.
Exhausted from solid 8 hours of training, and you're hanging out here on the floor. Maybe because they've been sitting all day, but they really want to stand around. But the group of vendors that are here, the stuff that they're showing in the cars and the technology and the tools.
It's all the right stuff.
Software and the services. It is all the right stuff to run a better business. It's great. Thanks for that observation. Matt, I'm going to hold you till last as we go and recruit a few more people that are walking by. Everybody's walking by. Daniel Aldrich. Come on in, man. Daniel Aldrich was walking by. I saw him and I flagged him in. And your tag says educator, Houston, Texas.
Yes, I'm a technical trainer with Christian Brothers Automotive Home Office in Houston.
Oh, cool. Are you out teaching everyone else?
Not this time. This is my first time at Vision. But I am going to be teaching in 2 weeks, and I taught some classes 2 weeks ago.
So you are a trainer for Christian Brothers. So do they come to you or do you go out?
They all come to us at the home office. They come from all over the country, from all of our different franchise locations, coast to coast.
Cool. So what was the 2 courses you took today?
I got to remember here, look at my tag. I took, all day, I took a VW Audi course with the Opus instructor.
And that's going to help you.
Yes, it's great. It's really I write, so we have the primary class that we teach right now is to our technicians is how to use OE diagnostic and programming equipment. And so we've been focusing on the big 6, right? FCA, Ford, GM, Toyota, Nissan, Honda. And there's been a lot of feedback we've been getting from our classes for European manufacturers. So I took this opportunity to attend as many European classes as I can to try to help me build curriculum.
Well, we know educators need to get certified, right? And I don't think there's enough educators that come to these kind of meetings. And maybe it's possible that all of our vendors are reaching out to the community. And it's great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Shane.
Yes.
Put the headphones on.
Where Daniel just dropped off.
We dragged Shane in here from Antero Automotive, Greenwood Village, Colorado. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir. First time. Oh, a first timer right here? Cool. Can't wait to talk to you. Hey, man. What brings you here, Shane?
All the training that you have to offer here.
Are you a shop owner?
Nope. I'm a shop foreman at Antero Automotive.
This isn't your first time.
No, so been here 3 times. Yeah, 3 times now.
3 times, right in a row, for example?
Yeah, except for last year.
Except for that, well, obviously for last year. But you wouldn't miss vision ever if you had a choice. You'd always want to be here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's the training, it's the networking, it's the Sheridan Bar.
Come here for the training, of course, but the bar is second. So.
Hey Bill, I thought of this today. Tracy and I were walking over to the Sheridan, and she goes, I've heard on podcasts over and over again the power of networking at the Sheridan Bar. And it's not that you go there to drink, it's just a fun place, big stuffed chairs, lots of stand-up tables. It's a really cool place to hang out. Right? And she says, I get it now. And I said, I know what we should call the Sheridan Bar. We should call it the 12th Name. Just like they do in football, right?
The 12th Tech.
The 12th Tech. That's even better. Thank you. He always fixes me. I am nothing without him. The 12th Tech. I think we'd have to explain that every time. Hey, Shane, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Matt Kusick, let me see. First time attending. I sit in the front row. My brain hurts. On the log. I love that. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
The Sheridan Auto Works. Wait a minute. I know where Sheridan Auto Works. Absolutely. Bryn.
Yes.
My great. Hey, so here's the deal. My wife loves Bryn. Ann loves Bryn. And she told Tracy, if you meet Bryn, say hello to Bryn. We were at an ASA event in Florida once, and Annie and Bryn were just off having a cocktail, talking a mile away. So Annie loves Bryn. Just watch. So, did Bryn close down and bring everything?
He did.
See, there's another shop that makes like 26 shops that have just decided to do that. You are enjoying it. This is your first time here. So are you overwhelmed yet?
No, not yet.
Cool. What's it going to take?
I don't know.
This is a high tolerance guy for sure. I can't believe that. Well, what course did you take today or 2?
I took the measurement and signature intelligence analysis.
Gary Smith.
Yes, and it was an excellent class.
Did you like that?
I did.
I did a podcast with Gary Smith on that exact time. Go to my website, type in Gary Smith, and listen to the podcast. It may be a bookend to what you just did. Hey, thanks for stopping in. Glad you're here. Matt Wag. Is Chris Monroe going to come in and get on the microphone?
Oh, go ahead. Do you want me to come in here?
Yeah. just put the headphones on, but I'm going to talk to him first. How are you, buddy? It's good to see you. Matt Webb, how you doing?
Good, thanks for having me.
Talk to me, buddy.
This is a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, what's
Really
going
is.
on? So I have to tell you all a story about him. I thought I have some really great fans in the industry who thank me for all the great content we provide. All of a sudden, you eclipsed my #1 fan by telling me your story. But thank you for listening to the show.
Yeah.
And here's a guy who's only been in business for a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, and here's a guy who comes up and tells me, I listen to the show so much that I says, I can be like AJ Neely, and I'm going to grow up and be like Chris Monroe. It says, basically, the people that I interview, he's fans of them too, right? Because
Without a doubt.
yeah. See, and he admires some of the great stories of being in business for so little and ultimately being so successful. So glad to have you here. And this is your first time, right?
It's probably my 4th or 5th year
Fourth
now.
or
Yeah.
fifth.
First as a shop owner, so this was a cool year for us because we opened September 2020 with COVID. Kind of just started out, and we decided to let's grow this thing and see where we take it. And believe it or not, we must have been doing something right because there's 5 of us now on our team, and I was able to. This was a huge goal I had going into business as well. Looking at the success of people like yourselves, listening to the podcast and seeing what others have to say, and you're seeing these highly successful shops that are either shutting down for this event and bringing everybody, or they're taking half their staff, whatever they choose to do. But that was a goal of mine, was to be able to. I want to take everybody to share this great experience that I've had in my life. Vision's been so impactful for me even when I was in a technician role. So I'm really proud and honored that I was able to, being 18 months into business, I brought my whole shop here. We closed down for 2 days, so I've got the whole crew of 5 of us and all of their spouses with us. And I think everybody gets to share this wonderful experience that I've been given.
Hey,
it's cool.
Thank you so much. Glad to meet you. Can you believe, Chris, he opened at the height of COVID?
What a great story, man.
It's been fun.
Are you crazy?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah. Ask Bill Haas.
Hey, by the way,
Did you drive him to do this?
Hey, I'm going to tell you too, though. I was given good advice. Hire a coach as soon as possible.
see, there you go.
Here, look at his head.
Can we work as one person?
Hire a coach as soon as possible. We missed the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. You guys looked almost perfectly together, like you were twins.
It's scary, man. It's scary.
Hire a coach as soon as possible. That's the message. In fact, I've known that forever.
And there he sits.
Yep. Awesome.
And not too many people actually tell anybody who their coach is, so you should be very.
Hopefully I'm allowed to, Bill.
You should be very honored. Yes.
Absolutely.
Hey, I want to start this. I want to be the founding member of Bill Haas fan club.
Okay, sure.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
too
cool
late.
with
That happened like 15 years ago.
So Chris Monroe.
Hey, man.
Good to see you,
Pretty
John.
good to see you.
I'm trying to get you to do a show with me. I'm thinking you're so damn busy.
It's just been crazy. I thought I'd just come by and say hello. Good to see you
So
guys here.
Monroe Tire and Service, Shelby, North Carolina.
Yeah, we've done 3 shows together.
Yeah, we have. And so here's the deal. Did you bring anybody in for people?
Yes.
How many people? Just one.
It's 1,000 miles, man. I can't just close doors.
You can't close the door.
No, I can't close the doors.
But I did podcast after podcast after podcast today. These guys explaining to me how they close the entire shop.
I'm a loser. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. I didn't want to say that. But,
Yeah, you were thinking it. That's okay, man.
no, I wasn't thinking of it. I was worried about
Be free, man. Be free.
you. Oh, Matt, thanks for being here.
Thank you,
Chris,
Carl.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
John Foro, trainer extraordinaire.
I don't know about that, Carm, but it's nice to see you.
Yeah, same here. God, we've done a show together, or maybe 2.
Yeah, we've done a couple.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Now, who are you training?
Yeah.
So I'm with the AVI, Automotive Video Innovations. So this week we're doing a all-electric vehicle class here at Vision. It's called EV for Gas Guys.
I love
It's
that.
kind of a watered-down version of a brand new class that I created. That the class is a 40-hour long class, but obviously the time constraint at Vision here is it's a 3-hour class.
Yeah,
So we're giving some highlights from it.
EV for gas guys.
EV for gas.
And the reason you put in the words gas guys is so that you didn't want to chase off an exit.
Thank you. Yeah, no.
It's all about inclusivity.
Yeah, and that's like putting advanced electrical training for beginners.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about a sales tactic, right?
It is. Well, this is great. How long have we been in here? Half hour, having so much fun. We're just cycling people in. Thank you to be my usher, Bill.
No problem.
Appreciate that so much. Brandon Steckler, how you doing? You're writing for Motor Edge?
Oh, my God, there's so many things going on.
I know. I mean,
On fire and
and so there's I have a cool story about Brandon. When I first interviewed him, he talked so much about his mentor, Jim Morton, and he basically told the story of what he wanted to grow up and be. And basically, you're doing it.
Help you usher.
Wait, do we consider him grown up?
is that another short
Yeah, that's just my typical play on words, Anthony. But the problem by having Anthony here is he's going to critique if the I isn't dotted, we're going to be told.
I figured you were going to be happy because I went after his height instead of your age this time. See, I'm learning, I'm growing.
Oh, instead of my age, I see that. Yeah, we've done a couple of shows together, and you always seem to target them. You old white-haired boomers.
That sounds so much meaner, but hey, I'm going to use it. Old white-haired
Every time
boomers.
the name Anthony, there's a problem associated.
Right.
Damn, Anthony.
This is how I make sure they remember. Okay.
Oh, this is too much fun. I love this impromptu stuff. I mean, it's like I have to try to keep up with these guys. So, tell me, how's life treating you?
Fantastic. Everything's going extraordinarily well. I'm just doing what I love to do, and I have so much support from everybody.
What are you teaching me?
So I created a brand new class, called Drivability from the Driver's Seat. It makes sure it's sophisticated and there's an epic class I do one. It's about the basics, the basics, and this stuff is scanned to data that's easily extrapolated from the vehicles now because of how much data can come out at such a high rate of speed. We can tell the story right from the driver's seat.
I love the thought of being in the driver's seat. It means a lot. You could be there and do your work, or you could be in control. Being in the driver's seat means you're in control, right?
And you've got air conditioning.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that too.
Or heat. Technicians aren't terribly lazy. I mean, we all are because we want to capitalize. We want to make that happen. And being able to do stuff like that applies to all vehicles. That's the way I try to construct it.
Well, guess what? If this is your innovation, I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thanks so much for being here. Anthony Williams.
Am I allowed to talk again?
No. Someone has to teach me how to get this guy under control. And if Justin Morgan was here, I think he could help me with that.
I think he is walking around somewhere.
And Peter, can you tell us some inside stories about this guy? I would just love to have something on him.
I've paid him off not to speak.
Oh,
yeah. So.
Okay. Anthony, just recently, we've done a couple of great shows on training together with Jim Kokonis, you and Justin Morgan. They were exceptional, except when you had those $30 words.
Using too big of words that you made me define for everybody.
Yeah. So when you don't.
I learned that from Donnie Cypher, by the way.
Oh,
his vocabulary is amazing. So, how to be more like Donnie? Use big words.
Car broke, fix it.
Oh my God, it's just too good. So thanks for being here, Anthony. Please type in Anthony Williams on my website and see the stuff you're talking about. Thank you so much for doing this. Hey, Peter, I'm still waiting for the scoop on Anthony.
What am I going to say? You told me how to verb.
You taught you what a verb was? That's why you were there?
See, exactly. I came in to help them with their vocabulary as well.
Oh, how nice.
Because they spoke a lot like Donnie used to. Car broke, fix.
Yeah, please go listen to that episode and see how many times I was corrected by this guy. In fact, Tracy produces this stuff. She's in the back thing, and she's typing, and she says, "You allowed this guy to be on your show?" I says, "You're gonna like
spell check."
Peter was in the studio earlier. We did a great show. You, G. Trulia, and Dave Hobbs. from Delphi Borg Warner. That it just flowed. We had 40 minutes. It didn't seem like it was 10 minutes.
No, it's so true.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
We had a
Thank
great
you for
time.
inviting us back.
Yeah, and we did one.
The
So
three children, I thought that'd be.
yeah. And so I've done so many shows here with zero agenda. You just come on in. We kind of outlined a few talking points, but nothing that I wanted to name, right? Just, I think it's good to talk about a few things before you open the mic, so that the energy was, starting to flow. You guys did a great job. In fact, I challenged them at the end with the concepts that came out of part 2. Yeah, I did. Truly, I didn't think of that. They thought of it. And so I brought it to that show, and I got a little pushback because we were talking. No,
I saw him gesture to you. You and I are going to talk on Monday.
so I told him, and I said, what about this big class that you had? It was 150 people, bringing them down into smaller groups, and setting a mentor inside of them, doing big studies, and that's kind of philosophy. And I said, I spoke wrong. You're right. It really needs to be a more concise and closer crowd. And so I had to yield to my initial big, wide thinking push. But I sold G a little bit better at the end.
You sure did.
Yeah, I sure did.
We made the point clear.
Yeah, and
as to how that could be effective as a training tool.
And it came from our podcast.
Nice.
I didn't think that through. He just, wow, Carl, that's brilliant. And I didn't tell him the truth. I didn't tell him.
Nonsense. Run with it.
It was you guys. Because what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to cloud the waters. It felt so good.
That's nice. I actually had a conversation with Scott Manna last night. And I think I hit him with too much information because he actually said, I need a moment, and then never came back to our conversation. So I'm glad you guys keep talking about it over here. You keep spreading the word.
You know who your friends are.
Yeah, right? So if Scott comes in and be like, hey, I heard you talk to Anthony last night. Tell us about that.
He won't buy me a drink.
Right.
Johnny Cypher, NASDAQ.
How you doing, Carl?
I'm great.
Good.
I saw you last night. We did a little video clip, but that's not published. So, legend. And tell me the latest news on NASDAQ.
We've just been really busy, and we're working to get a few OEs that aren't quite in the house playing, and we're actually having more success than normal lately. So, this has been really a big push to get some of the automakers that are sitting outside of compliance, right, and that don't really support the independence the way that they need to, and usually it's the way they want to because they've got a parent company who doesn't understand. So it's just a big communications thing, and people solve problems with people, and if you don't know who they are, you can't fix the problem.
You dropped a big name on me last night.
Yeah. Mercedes-Benz is actually doing things they've never done before, but they're not doing everything they need to do. And
it's a start.
Well, the way I look at it, we can say, well, we got to get everything and we got to get it right now, or we can incrementally get everything. And so we've got we've got keys, right? The guys have been struggling to get the key for a Mercedes during a repair for, we're pushing 14 years. So we've got those now. So that's a big thing. I'm not going to take a victory lap yet because the tires will probably go flat before we finish. But there's other things we're working on.
Say yay. Yeah. Thank you. Let's start switching a couple of seats out. Jake Sorensen. Boy, I didn't know you drank Jack and Coke. Still 2 nights ago.
That's my go-to.
Good to see you, man. Where was the National Institute for Appetites? I don't know if you know this, but this guy is like single-handed owner to really have that punch.
Pretty fun project.
Smart guy. I love watching on my show. So I saw you 2 years ago. I did you. Are you going to be at dinner tonight? How much fun that's going to be.
Again, free drinks and free meals, you know, I'll do that every time.
He's a sponge for that kind of stuff, right?
Hungry,
So-
thirsty, I'll say it twice.
So help me, did you brought someone with you, didn't you?
Yeah, man, it's actually the rest of our today.
Okay, cool.
They just flew in for the weekend.
It's amazing the investment that our industry is making and bringing people here to learn. And it doesn't matter if it's Vision or Apex or ATE, it doesn't matter. But they're investing. And they realize that they're never going to keep up. I mean, listen to what Donnie said. We may have, you know, an open window on Mercedes keys because we're working hard at that. That piece of hardware that comes off with no chips in it today still has the kind of technology that we absolutely have to. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, fine. Thank you for being my great usher, Bill. So, what do you got your guys taking courses on? What do they do?
So Mandy is our second shop, so he's here service advisor training and already he's opened his mind to a lot of different ways of doing things. You know, he's been at our shop for 10 years, 11 years now, and I think he feels like we do everything the best. There's no way to improve. And constantly telling him how there's always room for improvement, and always get better, and always learn. First day here, he already told me, wow.
And think about it, Sean, Kent, when someone comes to you with that outside influence, and you've been trying to work with them, and they have this, you know, this aha moment, it just helps you open that knowledge funnel because it wasn't you telling that story, it was someone else who affirmed and confirmed what you were saying, and now it changes the whole scope of learning for that person. I mean, you know that in training.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal. Big deal.
Kent Millard from the Institute for Automotive Business Excellence.
You remembered it. It's a really long one. It's hard
I
to.
know. And your dad did it. After your dad, Cecil Millard, did a show with us. He was on point today. I don't know. He must have gotten a little sleep last night.
We talked to Bill Haas earlier in the morning, and Bill beat him up. He's like, "I'm going to be a podcast with him. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to get any words in." And so he's like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
I know this. Bill said to me, "Why don't you invite Cecil?" I'm only kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's great to hear that you guys doing just loving the training. Thanks for being here. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Sean Hillivan, I met this guy a couple months ago, and then we just clicked and connected. We spent time on the phone. We shared our Clifton Strength Finders together. So I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And it was really great. It was really cool. So he shamed me. He shamed me into getting to buying all 34 strengths. I had been sitting on my top 5 for 7 years. and he says, "You gotta know at least the top 10. He said, "Get off your wallet. It's a $40 bill. Don't buy him." So I got him, and then we chatted, and then he and I did an episode on strengths and strengths finders. It was great. It hasn't released yet, but it's going to
come soon.
Yeah, thank you.
But that was that podcast with you generated the email that you had asked if I was coming out to Vision 2022.
Yeah.
And I said, I wasn't considering it, and we ended up bringing our entire staff of 8 people out here, and they're loving the training as well. Just what he said before, but the ability to level up on your training and thinking that you're really good at something, and then seeing, you may think you're at a 9 or a 10, at a 10, and then seeing the different things that you can really bring to the table. Moving yourself back down and opening up that access to training. So getting everybody on the same page. It's just
another shop owner. We're taking the team. I asked other people, how much did you spend? I'm not going to ask you.
enough.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
We're from New Jersey.
Hey.
8 people on a plane, airfare, hotel,
Drinks.
all worth it.
And the networking, and of course the 12th man, the Sheridan line. And see, he got it. It was Bill who said, no, you should call it the 12th, not the football fan. I think everybody kind of appreciates the importance of that screaming and yelling fan that we have to encourage you. I mean, that's what happens in the networking thing here. Is you meet new friends, and no one has to encourage you to want to come again next year. What you learn, it's just the culture of this event. Thanks for meeting me.
Thank you.
I saw him for the first time in the flesh. Kent,
Yes.
what's going on? What's new with you?
Not much. Just done with the kind of wrapping things up with the acquisition. It's been 10 months in the making. Finally calming down.
Yeah, well,
Very nice.
Just don't hold my audience at bay here. The acquisition was with
RLO. RLO Training acquired them and consolidated. We kept the whole team because they're all wonderful and got to kind of combine all the best of both. And we're finally settling into our new stuff.
Yeah.
And just getting through that. I don't know anybody out there who's done an acquisition with another business. You don't know what you don't know until you get in there. You find skeletons underneath. Not that it's RLO had many skeletons, but you mix two different companies, even though we had like values, like vision, all that. And there's just things that you don't know about, things that fall through the cracks. And so we're at a good point right now.
Bottom line impact.
Bottom line impact group. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the big famous. I know that. That's good. I want to be with John Waffler. Yeah. How do you, John?
He's great. I just went to one of his group meetings 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Loved it. Cool experience.
That's all you do.
Yeah. I don't do much.
I'll tell that. He's right. Misty, stick around, Ken. Hi, man.
Hi, Carmen. How are you?
Good. How's the book sales going?
Good.
Good.
Good. Yes.
The joy of hiring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody loves that, don't they?
Well, guess what? It's a concise, no nonsense. Is what you got to do book.
Well, like many things, you got to do it. But trying to make it less helter-skelter and more of a system helps a lot of people with comfort.
You're right.
Hiring has always been very helter-skelter. No process, no procedure, because they don't want to do it. So hopefully this brings some comfort and calms them down a little bit and they do a better job.
So Bill Haas is embarking on, and you obviously know this with Sarah, to try to get a hiring process for technicians and service advisors, where they do all the work and then they present the candidates. Right? Mm-hmm. And the joy of hiring is, which is, it doesn't matter who it helps, but it helps. So my point is, and here's two coaches in the industry, it seems to be a trend. You guys look for opportunities and say, I think we need to help fit, we need to help our guys.
Well, there's so many challenges. I mean, you think about everything they're dealing with, from the technical aspect to finding the unicorn, as I refer to them, that technician, and then all the issues with the customers. We need to focus on becoming as good at that as we do at fixing cars. It's not about fixing cars anymore, it's about fixing people. And we try to help them. And to be honest with you, Carm, I wrote the book for a selfish reason. I spend all day telling people about helping them try to hire things. Now they have a reference guide they can go back to and refresh it. So
easy read, great reference guide, well laid out, good table of contents. And frankly, the resources, you can buy the book, you get the URL, the resources, you could choke through so much stuff.
Yeah. Well, you think about this. Carmen wants you to write a job description and expectations for an employee. That's the last we're going to talk about that, because you're not going to do it. Because you're too busy doing all the other things you have.
And I'm risking everything I did to hire that person, because I didn't do that.
Our biggest failure is we bring people in, we don't set expectations. We don't tell them what their job actually is. We assume they know it because they're in the industry. But what they did at the last shop and what I need them to do at my shop may be two totally different things. And without minimum expectations, how do we hold them accountable? And again, we're too busy fixing cars and fixing the business to worry about that stuff. So we try to do as much as we could to help them.
So we did an in-depth interview with you on your book. Tuck Mail and Newton on my website. Find it. Just scroll up and find that. So it was great. Thank you so much. And my final guest.
Just popping in. How's everybody doing?
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Melvin.
Good afternoon.
Mike Dela Cruz from Elite Worldwide. So I have to share a story. I told you earlier. it was a couple of years ago. We were hanging out ASA Colorado. And we were just brainstorming because you and I connect on a really cerebral level. And we were talking about speeches. And I'm giving next weekend this short little keynote on one of the topics that we talked about.
Yep.
And so Mike was here and stopped in the studio, and I said, I got this, so I'm going to do this speech. And he looked at me and he goes, yeah, we did talk about that. And so I started to shove a couple of lines. Tracy and Mike were here. I had no notes. It just came off the top of my head. And so the speech is, do I work for a NASA? And so everybody looks at me and say, what the heck is that? And I says, well, NASA, Cape Canaveral, Mercury, Apollo, Space Shuttle. What's it take to really do that job? What's the training? What's the transparency? What's the honesty? What's the cleanliness? What's the organization? What's the process? What's the standard operating procedures? Is it go in the dunk tank and learn underwater how to fix this satellite or whatever, and you're going to do it for 25 days in a row so you really know it, learn it, and understand it, it becomes muscle memory.
That's right.
And how are we doing that? Wait a minute, we have a comeback problem. If NASA had it, we'd be toast. They had one major problem, a couple of major problems. We understand the issues with the shuttles, but let's go back to Apollo 13. And the failure was not an option. And how that team rallied together to serve those astronauts, those people, the people in the car driving, we need to keep them safe, we need to bring them home. And I think we're not. And again, I'm kind of, and I shouldn't be doing this. People listen to this out of the New York City group that's going to be there and say, well, this is crazy. No, I don't have the total concept down yet, but I want people to stop and think how their shop runs and their contributions to it is for the greater good of not only the company but the customer, because NASA could never run like some of our shops.
It's interesting. I don't know if you're aware of this now, but NASA has internships for high school students.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're bringing them into the career path early. That's the first thing. The second thing is I talked to a teacher on Tuesday, and he said we need to become a destination job. He said NASA is a destination job. You go to work for NASA, they're well paid, they're well taken care of, there's benefits. They don't ever go anywhere. That can't be said about our industry. We're an intern.
Yeah, but to my point, that there are, and you know, my God, I got 3 coaches here in the room. How'd this happen? Huh? Leave the check at the door. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
We were talking about the NASA, your speech.
Yeah, no, but the internships, right?
Being an interim.
Oh, an interim. You got Malin throwing some
20,
making it rain over here.
Who's going to beat the 20?
Right. Exactly.
Well, if we're comparing, take it back.
About the internships and sorry guys.
Well, that's one of the things that we've been working with shops is, maybe not the hiring part, but becoming a shop that's worth it for a technician, for somebody who's looking for a career. What can you do to set them up for success, and what does that look like? And that looks like some kind of an internship or training program, and we go into it.
I got it back. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you for giving me that.
There you go.
That pause.
You're welcome, Carm.
CRS.
Is you guys know Nassau shops? You do. Every one of you know top shops that you would say they got this thing nailed. But if they had to go in and substitute, they had to get inside the space program, I would trust this team to go and do it. And so we need to say it does exist. A Nassau style shop does exist in our business. And, I'm standing in front of the Saturn V booster model many years ago, and you looked at that thing, and you just couldn't imagine this thing getting off the ground as large as it was. And think of the computer technology is in that capsule. Our cars are eclipsing it. So if you have to be that good to have worked at NASA, Don't you have to be that good to work at a Nassau shop?
That's right. And it's interesting because most people know me from Kukui and doing the Kukui van tour and seeing over 1,000 shops around the country. And the first thing that I would do is I would drive through the neighborhood and see what kind of neighborhood it was. And I'd pull in the driveway and I'd say, okay, is there ample parking? And then I'd walk through the door. It's like, was I greeted by the advisor? Sitting down, in the lobby where the magazines from 2008, right? So I would be I would get granular. Every shop I walked into, I would sort of learn and I'd see what the top shops would do. And that's kind of what triggered our conversation about the NASA shop, And then you sort of peel as you're talking to shops over front, you're kind of peeling the onion and you're asking, what are you doing for marketing? What are you doing for this? What are you doing for that? It's like, I'm doing all the right things. So you're a NASA shop, right? So that's how that conversation came about.
But thank you. I think I just talked it out here. I'm sharing with you guys as I developed this speech after 10 days.
So Carm should be paying us for helping him flesh out the speech.
Co-authors. Exactly.
You are this man knows how to totally turn anything around that I ever talked to you about into a 180. He's amazing. You've been around the horn a little bit.
Yeah. Are you saying I'm old?
No, God, no.
Experience, please.
But I just wrote Nassau and Tom together. As I try to develop this analogy, what the hell are you talking about? Even if I mention the word top shop, I think I still have to build into what that means and how that works. And that.
Well, you think about what it took to do what they did.
Yeah.
Planning, strategy, forethought. They had to do a lot of testing, a lot of improving. They had to have a vision, all of that stuff. And a lot of shops are trying to get to that point, and it's because they're dealing with all the fires. They don't have any time to plan or strategize or have that forethought of like, what do I even want to have in my business?
It's kind of like this. If Kennedy hadn't said we're going to be on the moon by this date, none of that would have happened.
Yeah.
And in a lot of shops, they have that vision, I want to be something, but they never put a deadline on it, and they never make it a focal point because they're too busy with the minutia of stuff that you have to do with every day, and there's not that visionary. And they don't hire the right people and trust the right people and educate them and give them minimum expectations and hold them accountable. I mean, all the things. You hear that all the time. I want to be the shop, the palace on the hill, as I call it, right? All right. What's your plan? What's your 5-year plan? I don't know. What's your 1-year plan? What's your day plan? I want to make it to lunch.
That ambiguity kills good employees.
Oh, absolutely.
They come in, they have no direction, no idea of what they can expect, and they don't know if they can trust this is going to be a lifelong place for them to
destination
make their roots, right? And so that ambiguity gets them disinterested, and they'll go find somewhere that is not necessarily a greener pasture, but a more organized pasture.
Well, think about this. We all knew the shop that the dads had it, the grandpa had it. The kid's there. He's been promised, you're going to own this someday. You're going to own this someday. And 45 years go by. He's no longer a kid. He's worked there since he was 10. Now he's 35, 45, 55 years old. And he goes, I'm never going to get this. I don't care. And they go find something else to do. Because we didn't have an exit plan. We didn't have a destination, if you will. And the employees see that, and they figure, I'm never going to be anything. The chance for advancement or a career path, let's call it that, is non-existent because the original owner didn't have one. Most of us went into fixing cars because it was fun. It was something we did, right? And the thought of it being a business came secondary, right? We got the entrepreneurial seizure and decided we could do this. And fixing cars isn't what it's about. I tell people all the time, if you don't have a 5-year, 10-year, 15 or 20-year plan, you're going to be in the same spot in 15 years. And, I'm going to sell my business. No, you're not. Because you don't have a plan.
It's also not going to be worth anything.
Well, yeah.
I was trying more often than not. Yeah.
Hey guys, we are on a roll, but I have another commitment in a little bit.
Yep.
And so, we should almost figure out how to repeat this in a real podcast. Maybe take this offline. But I'm going to steal some of your great dialogue because I love this business reception. There's some really cool things that I think I can stitch into this concept that I'm trying to talk about.
Make sure you give us all credit, writing credits.
Well, I already told Mike I would do that. And so, okay. All right.
But the problem is, Carm's credit worth it.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I worked very, very hard to,
We love you, Carmen.
got 20 bucks a month.
I tried to give you 20 more.
I know you did, but you quickly took that away. I mean,
I know,
It
that
was
was pretty
fast.
fast.
did you see how
I don't think
quickly
it-
I said it didn't
I don't think
matter?
it hit
And
the
you went,
table.
Deep down inside, I'm a service advisor, right? You leave money on the table, I'm picking it up.
Plus, he's from California too, so 20 bucks. That's a gallon of gas.
That's too funny.
It's also about 2 gallons of beer.
Megan Newton, Kent Bullard, Mike Delacruz, thanks guys.
Thanks,
Carmen.
love you
Thanks,
guys.
Carmen. I was great at hating this.